Hi, everyone. Dr. Mark Dennis here. As we explore various topics in marketing, you'll begin to see how businesses create value and connect with customers in meaningful ways. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to week one of Marketing 1011 Introduction to Marketing. Over the course of this term, we are going to explore one of the most fascinating and influential disciplines in all of business, the field of marketing. When many people hear the word marketing, they immediately think of commercials, flashy advertisements, billboards on the highway, or perhaps those targeted social media ads that somehow seem to know exactly what you were just talking about 5 minutes ago. But marketing, when properly understood, is much bigger than that. Marketing is about understanding people. It is about identifying needs, solving problems, creating value, and building relationships. In many ways, marketing sits at the very heart of business itself, because no matter how good a product may be, if nobody wants it, understands it, or sees value in it, the business will struggle to survive. In this session, we begin by laying the foundation for everything that follows throughout the course. So let's begin. To start, let's talk about the marketing process itself. At its core, marketing follows a fairly logical progression. First, businesses must understand the marketplace and the needs of their customers. Then they design strategies to create value for those customers. Next, they build relationships with those customers over time. And finally, if all goes according to plan, the company captures value in return through revenue, loyalty, and long-term profitability. Now, that may sound simple enough on paper, but it represents a very important mindset shift. The best businesses do not begin by asking, how can we sell more stuff? They begin by asking, what do customers truly need, and how can we serve them better than anyone else? And when companies get that part right, sales and profits tend to follow naturally. Here we see former Target CEO Brian Cornell, who made a habit of visiting stores personally and speaking directly with customers. And I'll tell you, that was not by accident. The smartest leaders understand that the further removed they become from the customer experience, the easier it becomes to make poor decisions. There's something powerful about stepping out from behind the desk, walking the floor, observing customers, and hearing directly what people like, dislike, and expect. Because while spreadsheets may tell you what happened, customers can often tell you why those things happened. That lesson applies far beyond retail. If you want to understand any market, you must stay connected to the people within it. Now let's define a very basic but important term, the market. A market consists of all actual and potential buyers of a product or a service. And notice that definition includes not only people buying today, but also people who might buy tomorrow. That is important because marketing is not just about serving current customers. It is also about identifying future opportunities. Historically, companies viewed marketing as something sellers did to consumers. But modern marketing is much more interactive. Today's consumers research products, they compare alternatives, they leave reviews, they post opinions online, and they communicate directly with brands in real time. The customer is no longer a passive participant. The customer now helps shape the market itself. Marketing management is the process of choosing target markets and building profitable relationships. And in doing so, businesses must answer two fundamental questions. First, who exactly are we trying to serve? And second, what value are we offering to them? While that may seem straightforward, these two questions sit underneath nearly every successful business strategy you will ever encounter. If a company does not know who its ideal customer is, its marketing quickly becomes unfocused. And if it cannot explain why customers should choose it over competitors, then it has no meaningful competitive advantage. In many ways, all of marketing comes back to these two questions. This brings us to marketing segmentation and target marketing. Businesses quickly learn that not all customers are alike. Different groups of people want different things, they value different features, and they respond to different messaging. So rather than treating everyone exactly the same, marketers divide the broader market into segments, which are groups of consumers with similar traits or preferences. Then, after identifying those segments, the business decides which segment or segments it wants to pursue. That process is called target marketing. Because when you try to market to everyone, more often than not, you end up resonating deeply with no one. Next comes the value proposition. A value proposition is simply the promise of value that a company makes to its customers. It answers this question: why should someone choose us? Think about that one for a moment. Why does one person buy a luxury watch while another buys a basic digital one? Why does one customer choose Apple while another chooses Samsung? Why does one traveler book a 5-star resort while another looks for the cheapest motel near the interstate? Because each brand positions itself differently and offers a different value proposition. Marketing is not simply about having a product. It is about making people understand why your offering matters. Businesses can approach marketing through several philosophical lenses. Some focus heavily on production efficiency. Others emphasize product quality and innovation. Some rely on aggressive selling and promotion. But the most successful modern businesses generally embrace what we call the marketing concept. That concept says businesses should first understand customer needs, then build products around those needs. That may sound obvious today, but historically, many businesses did exactly the opposite. They built products first and then tried to convince people to buy them. As it turns out, that is not always the best strategy. People tend to prefer when businesses actually listen to them. Funny how that works. Here we contrast the selling concept with the marketing concept. The selling concept essentially says make products, then convince people to buy them. The marketing concept says understand what people want, then create products to meet those wants. One approach begins with the company, the other begins with the customer, and that distinction matters tremendously. Because the most sustainable businesses tend to be the ones built around solving customer problems not simply pushing inventory. Starbucks is one of the great examples of value-driven marketing because Starbucks does not simply sell coffee. If they did, nobody would pay $6 for something they could make at home for 50 cents. No, Starbucks sells something more. They sell atmosphere. They sell comfort. They sell convenience. They sell consistency. They sell what many call the Starbucks experience. The music, the aroma, the comfortable chairs, the personalized drinks, even the names written on the cups. All of that contributes to the perceived value. And that illustrates a powerful marketing truth. Customers often buy experiences and emotions just as much as they buy products. Now we arrive at one of the most famous concepts in marketing, the 4 Ps. These are product, price, place, and promotion. Together, these 4 areas make up the marketing mix. Product refers to what is being sold. Price refers to what customers pay. Place refers to where and how the product is distributed. Promotion refers to how the company communicates with customers. And as we move through this course, you will see these 4 Ps come up again and again because they are central to nearly every marketing strategy. Customer relationships can vary greatly depending on the business and the type of customer involved. Some customers require only simple transactional relationships. Others justify long-term partnerships and personalized service. Businesses often use tools like loyalty programs, reward systems, and membership clubs to strengthen those relationships. Why? Because retaining an existing customer is generally far, far cheaper and easier than acquiring a new one. And in business, that matters. It matters a lot. As harsh as this might seem at first, not every customer is equally valuable to a business. Some customers are highly profitable and loyal. Others may be loyal, but not particularly profitable. Still others may purchase once and then disappear forever. Because of this, companies often categorize customers and allocate resources accordingly. The company will not gain anything by investing time and resources in developing relationships with strangers. For butterflies, the company should create satisfying and profitable transactions, capturing as much of their business as possible in the short time during which they buy from the company. Efforts to convert butterflies into loyal customers are rarely successful. True friends are loyal and have the potential to generate good profit for the company. The firm should make continuous relationship investments to delight these customers and nurture, retain, and grow them. Barnacles may be highly loyal, but they're not very profitable. There is a limited fit between their needs and the company's offerings. The company may be able to improve the profitability of barnacles by selling them more, raising their fees, or reducing services to them. However, if the barnacles cannot be made profitable, they should be fired. Again, this may sound a little clinical, perhaps even harsh, but business decisions often require practical realism. Not every customer relationship should receive the same amount of investment. The customer may not always be right, but the right customer almost always is. As you can see from this very busy diagram, marketing is not a one-time event. It is not something businesses do once and then forget about. Marketing is a continuous cycle of creating value, measuring results, gathering feedback, and adjusting strategy. Markets change, customers evolve, competitors adapt, and businesses, at least successful businesses, must do the same. Portfolio analysis helps businesses evaluate the products and divisions they currently operate. Management examines which areas are thriving, which happen to be struggling, and where resources should be invested moving forward. Think of it almost like managing an investment portfolio. Businesses must decide where to place their limited time, limited money, and limited amounts of energy in order to maximize long-term returns. The best-known portfolio planning method was developed by the Boston Consulting Group, or BCG, a leading management consulting firm. This BCG growth share matrix shows the classification of companies' SBUs, or strategic business units. Market growth rate provides a measure of market attractiveness. Relative market share serves as a measure of company strength in the market. The Boston Consulting Group matrix categorizes business units into 4 groups. Stars, which are the fast-growing and strong performers. Cash cows, which generate steady profits. Question marks, which have potential but uncertainty. And dogs, which tend to underperform. This framework helps businesses determine where to invest and where to pull back. The 10 circles in this growth share matrix would represent a company's 10 current strategic business units. The company must decide how much it will invest in each product or business SBU. It must decide whether to build, hold, harvest, or divest. Of course, no framework is perfect. The growth share matrix has its limitations. It can be time-consuming to implement, difficult to measure accurately, and it may oversimplify complex business realities. Like most analytical tools, it's helpful, but it should support decision-making rather than replace judgment. The Product Market Expansion Grid outlines 4 growth strategies businesses may pursue. Market penetration means selling more to existing customers. Market development means entering brand new markets. Product development means introducing new products. Diversification means entering entirely new industries. Each carries its own risks as well as rewards. Generally speaking, the further a company moves away from what it already knows, the greater the uncertainty involved. Marketing strategy ultimately comes down to 2 central questions. 1, who are we serving? And 2, how are we creating value for them? Once those questions are answered, businesses align the 4 Ps to support that strategy. This is simple in theory, not always simple in execution. The marketing environment refers to outside forces that affect a company's success. These include the microenvironment, which are forces close to the company, as well as the macro environment, or broader societal trends. No business operates in isolation. External factors constantly shape opportunities as well as challenges. The microenvironment includes suppliers, competitors, intermediaries, customers, and other stakeholders directly connected to the business. These forces often have immediate day-to-day impact on operations and performance. The macro environment includes larger forces such as economics, demographics, technology, politics, and culture. These broader trends shape markets over time and can dramatically alter consumer behavior. Businesses that anticipate these shifts tend to outperform those that ignore them. For this course, your marketing project will focus heavily on the 4 Ps of marketing. The project will challenge you to apply what you are learning as well as to think strategically, just like real marketers. As we move forward, keep those 4 Ps in mind. They will be central to your work throughout the course. As we mentioned earlier, the 4 Ps are product, place, promotion, and price. These 4 elements work together to shape how customers perceive value. When properly aligned, they form the backbone of a successful marketing strategy. Make sure your marketing project incorporates and fully incorporates all 4 of these. Finally, product development involves creating or improving products to meet evolving customer needs. Innovation remains one of the most important drivers of long-term business success, because no matter the industry, businesses that stop innovating eventually get left behind. This is simply the nature of competitive markets. This concludes this portion of the lecture. I look forward to working with you through the remainder of the semester, and as always, I will see you online soon.